What's happening? Let me kick this off here for you folks, metal style. What's up, replay crew? You're the one seeing this. Caught the intro music. I'm going to kick in the other music here in just a little bit whenever I get ready to run it home. It's an impromptu Tuesday evening, which is really odd for me. Tuesday evening quick live. Okay, nothing fantastical, not like several beers. I'm like three-quarters of the way through this beautiful fog monster. Robert Ham, good to see you, my brother. Jacob 2A, good to see you, sir. Just doing an impromptu Tuesday evening, which is odd for me, live. KP, good to see you, brother. No fruity beer, doing Fog Monster, about three-quarters of it already gone. But yeah, just some stuff just got me up in my, and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to do it live. I'm going to do it live. Gen X, good to see you, brother. Had to put a new color on my Tacticat tonight. Hers got kind of funky and she keeps running around naked without a collar, so I had to put a new one on her and she looks beautiful. Looks beautiful now. But yeah, I was reading some stuff, listening to some stuff, watching some stuff, and I'm like, mm. You know that Disturbed song, Down with the Sickness? Oh, wow. That's me tonight. So you got Down with the Sickness metal tonight, right? So yeah, gonna let some people filter in here for a little bit, and then I'm gonna kick things off into the schizo portion of this live stream. So I hope all of you fine gentlemen in the chat are doing amazing. You're having a great day. I got hit with a stomach bug this past weekend, and it's not been fun. Right after I got better from having the respiratory crap, so getting over that and drink a better beer. Dapper is watching me. I have a star fan watching the live stream. Candy Corso, good to see you. Thanks for joining. It's going to be a schizo one tonight. Dana, thank you. I am feeling better than I was, better than I've been. But yeah, it is going to be a schizo one tonight. So make sure you keep the pucker powder handy in case anybody gets their butt cheeks tight. No fruity beer. No, definitely not a fruity beer. It's Fog Monster. TMT, good to see you, brother. Yeah, doing a schizo one this evening. And I know TMT is going to be doing his thing later. I'll probably be in bed. Unfortunately, TMT, the saint that gentleman is, sends me a link to join him on his lives. And generally, I wake up in the morning and I see it there, and I'm like, "Shit!" TNT sent me a link, so I always end up missing jumping on his lives because my old ass goes to bed earlier. I can't hang with the young bucks anymore like that. I'm an old man. I work really hard during the day, so I need my sleep at night. But yes, I am going to go full schizo into some stuff here tonight, and yeah, it's going to be very, very, very reminiscent of a gentleman that wore a mask, very similar to that. Yeah, it's going to be very similar to that. I know I never join because I'm usually whenever I get the link sent to me. It's unfortunate. It's quite unfortunate because I watch in the replay and I'm like, I got things I could throw in there, but my old ass has to go to sleep early because I get up super fucking early in the morning, and that's the way it bees. But as a shout out to my youngest, happy birthday to you, Turbo. I love you, child. I am very thankful for you in my life, and you are always going to be my own custom backpack that I used to carry everywhere. She is now 21 years old and had her first legal drink this evening, and it was a Moscow Mule of all things. But her boyfriend took her out to dinner, and she's doing that whole dinner date for her birthday thing. So love you, child. Lawfully, good to see you, my friend. So yeah, I'm gonna kick in a little bit of the podcast here. So check this out. Hope y'all like that little ditty. That's something I made up for the podcast for the intro. I titled it "Whatever It Takes," because in this life we have to do whatever it takes to live. So we got a lot of stuff going on. If y'all haven't seen, you got Lady G, oh flimsy Graham, taken and saying that he pledges his loyalty to the Israel, not to the US, which he was elected allegedly by the US to be a representative. So I say that the people that he's supposed to be representing, they gather up that little piece of crap and they do with him what we should be doing with tyrants. Because that straight up is treason, pledging your loyalty to a foreign nation over the people you're supposed to be taking care of and being a representative for. So, first off, yeah, Flimsy Graham, get rid of that freaking sucker. Like, do what you got to do, America. In your area, if Flimsy Graham is over your state, act accordingly. Act accordingly. Legal drinking age for you is 18. Oh my gosh. That is awesome. I did work with a guy that was from over in England, and he used to drink like every night whenever it'd be time to like go to bed or anything like that, or they'd be getting ready in the evening or whatever after dinner. His parents would give him like crackers and cheese and beer, and he'd like lay by the fire and drink. I was like, dude, that must have been cool as a kid. He's like, it was like, having warm milk with cookies before you go to bed or something. V, good to see you. You're going to like this one. This is, guys, for those joining, this is going to be a schizo rant episode, kind of like our boy that used to wear this kind of mask. Yeah, kind of like what he did in the shorts and some of his videos. Yeah, I'm fully going there, and I should probably have on that Batman cowl doing this, but I just didn't do it. So, yeah, we got Flimsy Graham pledging his love, his indentured rainbow boy love for Israel over America. You got Huckabee. Oh, Mikey Huckabee. His daughter, former press secretary for the Orange guy at one point, last term, saying that us folks, us USA folks, that Glory, good to see you, old Glory. Glad you're here, my friend. That Mike Huckabee saying we should be happy to be giving Israel everything we're giving them. That I don't care if the small hats hear this and they're like, and they do whatever. There is a First Amendment here in the United States of America where I am recording this and putting this out, and where last time I checked, this company that on this platform was based, there is a First Amendment right. So I am going to exercise that in this schizo live stream. So Huckabee wants us to pledge our undying loyalty and fealty to the small hat folk. That we owe them. We are indentured to them. How? I don't see how. Because they were like that nation didn't exist until 1947, which we were around before that. We are part of the reason it's a thing. But yeah, how are we to why are we to indenture ourselves and give them so much because they're chosen? They're not chosen. They're not chosen. That ship had sailed. Grit and Grace, good to see you. Brother Lark, good to see you too. They are not the same people that that good book talked about. They're not. It's very easy to tell. Look at Timothy. Look at Thessalonians. I mean, read First and Second Thessalonians. I mean, it's pretty apparent that those folk are not the same folk that were supposed to be chosen. This whole thing of propping up and supporting this nation state to do their bidding, to do their will. And if the gas price is a little bit higher, it's okay. It's a small price to pay for Israel to make them all better. Make Israel great again, everybody. Fuck America. Is basically what's happening compared to what was promised, right? And we keep seeing the government sponsored influencers saying promises made, promises kept. Well, shove those promises straight up your Rudy Poo candy asses. And if this episode of this live stream gets anybody's butt cheeks tight, I got your pucker powder right here. Sprinkle it on as much as you need to unclench those tight butt cheeks. Huckabee wants us to just kiss them cheeks and give them whatever they want. Israel got hit by a Tomahawk missile. They got hit by a Tomahawk. That's like one of ours, right? Right? Belong to US made, US missile, right? Yeah, yeah. Tomahawk. Oh, right. So, how did Iran get a Tomahawk? I've talked about that before on the podcast, like last year, earlier on last year. And I clued the people in to how they get their hands on our tech and our stuff. And it's pretty simple and pretty easy. Did he just? Yes, he did. ACR got 4 miles in with the dogs. Good to see you, my brother. So, how did they get the Tomahawk? Real easy, real simple. You know, in those packages, those packages we give to Israel, those packages we give to Ukraine, those kind of things, those military aid packages. Yeah. Oh, it's definitely an arms dealer, Dana. Definitely an arms dealer. The biggest arms dealer in all of the world, the U.S. government. They give that package to Israel or to Ukraine, right? Whenever Israel gets it, they're pretty cool with China. So they end up selling some stuff to China. And China retro engineers it. If you look at our F 35, prime example, our F 35, China has a Timu version of it that they've made. And then China, once they get their stuff done with it, they end up in turn selling it to Iran. Yeah, Iran gets it from China, who gets it from the chosen, right? So I apologize if I'm not keeping up with everybody coming into the chat. I love you guys. You're amazing. Thank you for jumping in and getting in on this stuff. Sorry if I do miss you, but I will try and jump back around and catch you. If not, just call me a bad American and I'm going to keep trudging on. So they get their weapons via proxy because we give them in an aid package to the small hat folk. They, in turn, sell it to China, to then retro engineer, figure out what they want, get what they want from it, and then send it off to Iran and sell it to them. So that tomahawk that Iran sent in came from the US. And Trump's like, I don't know how people got it. I don't know. I don't know. I got a pretty good idea, Donnie. Got a pretty good idea. And I called it out last year. Called it out last year on the podcast. But, you know, hear no evil, see no evil, speak no evil. You know, the monkeys came to town. And a lot of people, whenever I was talking about the way things were forming up and the way things were looking, a lot of people really, oh, I could have had an entire truck full of this stuff and it wouldn't have been enough for one single human because they got their cheeks so tight because they did not have TDS. They didn't have Trump derangement syndrome. They have PMS, what we call praising MAGA syndrome. Doesn't matter what they do, how good he does, how bad he does, whatever, just praise him. Praise be to that guy because he is the guy. Doesn't matter. He could literally take and burn their house down, and they would stand out watching the fire company trying to put it out, and they'd be like, "Those are such patriotic flames. They're MAGA flames. Oh my gosh, it's so great!" And they would cheer for their own house being burnt down. How did those type of folks turn on or change a light bulb? How would they change a light bulb? The fact is they don't. What they do is he says that he changed it and he changed it better than anybody. Nobody's ever changed a bulb like me. And they stand around in the pitch black, plotting and cheering for it and saying how it was such a great job and it's the best light in a room they've ever experienced. That's PMS. That is PMS to a T. Mainly, good to see you, my friend. Need some more fog monster. Katrinka, good to see you. Thanks for joining. This is a schizo rant. Short live, not doing a whole long one. I got about a quarter of a beer here. Can of chew. Demo man, good to see you. So, yeah, I'm doing a schizo rant live. Is what it is. It's going to be a fun one because we got a lot of stuff going on. A lot of stuff. Allegedly, US Gov picked up encrypted comms saying that Iran activated sleeper cells all over the world. Okay, I do know. I've talked about it before. IRGC has been sent out all over the place. Yes, that was like a fact like 2 years ago. Like it was being talked about in the wires back then. But okay, sleeper cell. All right. My last live I just did here, I talked about something where the people of a nation that we can't really name, but I've said a few times, but we can't really name these people with the Star of Saturn, Star of Solomon. We can't talk about that. We can't say their nation. So I'm just going to say the nation. That if something happens here after they've put that bit of information out, that is going to have happened because of that nation, the Star of Solomon folk, igniting something and having it happen here that then our little g can then point fingers at Iran and be like, they did it, they did it, they did it. Disastrous. Good to see you, sir. Thanks for joining. So they're going to have a hit. They did it. I didn't, the whole thing. And the kids on the playground, the water balloon hits the mom, and the one kid's like, that's what we're going to experience. But it's going to be something here, 9/11-ish style. They did it. That's what we're going to see. It just really, really was like, I could see them doing this. And then whenever the little G came out and said flat out in a freaking presser about the call going out to sleeper cells, I'm like, here we go. I've seen this one. I've seen this one. I've been reading the tea leaves and I've seen this one. It's kind of interesting. It's kind of interesting how that's coming about. How's your gas prices, folks? How's your gas prices? We're up at like 380. We got down to like 309 at the one place up here, the one joint. We're up to like 380 now. So much winning. Dow's tanking. Everything's tanking. The cost of everything is through the freaking roof. For groceries, for lumber, for you name it, parts, pieces, whatever. It's all through the freaking roof. But now companies out across America, the United States of America, are now talking about giving their employees not traditional performance based raises. They're talking about giving their employees what's called a peanut butter raise. A peanut butter raise. Anybody ever heard of a peanut butter raise? I worked a lot in my life for many years, like roughly about 30 years. And I've never in my life heard of a peanut butter raise. I've been a supervisor. I've been an operations manager. I've been a site supervisor. I have been a manager. I have ran a store. I have ran a business. I've been a foreman. I have been an apprentice. I have yet to ever hear of a peanut butter raise. I mean, we're not talking about putting peanut butter on parts and pieces and dogs and stuff. We're not talking about that. So calm down, Andrew. Peanut butter raise. I had to look it up. A peanut butter raise means that they give everybody in the company a flat raise, a small, flat, even, like an even spread, hence peanut butter, an even spread raise. So rather than people getting raises based on their performance and how they do and what they do and how good they are at what they do in their craft, no, Joe, that does an amazing freaking job, should be getting like a 250 $3 an hour raise based on his performance. But, 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 because it's a peanut butter raise, Sam over here gets the same 10-cent raise as what Joe does. No performance, no nothing. Everybody's getting 10 cents. That's all you're getting this year. Thanks for coming out. Right? That's what we got going on because companies are not wanting to pay for performance and pay for people anymore. They're blanketing the pay 10 cents an hour or whatever. I'm making up 10 cents an hour, obviously, because I don't know what each company's going to do. But that's all they're getting. Cost of living is up there. It's way up there. But income is comparatively to the cost of living. There is too much month at the end of the money for so many people. But we're winning so much. It's the most anybody has ever won in their life, and it's because of me. We did that. I did that. It was the best. I'm the best. Kiss my butt. Right? Exactly, Demo Man. It is a participation trophy. Not to be confused with like children. They are participation trophies. But it's just, hey, thanks for showing up. Here's 10 cents an hour on top of your rate. Whatever. You may suck. You may be awesome, but you're both getting the same thing. So that's all we're doing. Then on the books, they can show that, hey, we gave everybody raises. We're like a top 10,000 company or some bullshit that they come up with just to blow job each other, right? That's all that is. That's all it is. We get peanut butter raises now in America. Interesting. Interesting. But that gas price just keeps. They're saying, oh, the price of gas has gone astronomical because they've shut down the Strait of Hormuz. Iran shut down the Strait of Hormuz. Blame them, blame them, blame. Yet again, hey, it was them. It wasn't me. It was them. Okay. But the Strait of Hormuz, last time I checked, which was like earlier this morning, they were only maybe potentially getting about 20% of the world's oil through the Strait of Hormuz. So there's no reason the price of gas should have went up. We don't rely on imports from Iran or anything that would travel through the Strait of Hormuz. Interesting. And if you haven't done so, look at this last live I did. I talked about that whole dynamic with Venezuela and the oil and the BP and the things and the stuff and the whatnot, and how the Ayatollah was removed from Iran. Iran, I don't know if y'all know this or not. Let's go way back to ancient history. Iran, Iran and Iraq, they were actually combined at one point in history, ancient history. And it was known as Persia. Persia. Iran and Iraq were combined and they were called Persia. They've been around for like ever, like 2,500 years, right? And they had their dynamic and how they had everything ran. The Zionist type people got involved with the U.S. government way back, but then 1947, you saw the rise of the Balfour Declaration. We know what came from the Balfour Declaration and a couple other documents that are out there to research. We know what nation came from that, but also one of the triple letters, Charlie India Alpha, came from that same time frame. Fast forward about 10 years, that's when that triple letter got involved over in Iran to overthrow the regime that was in place and how they had ran things for however long, to then install a Shah. The Shah that was installed was willing to play ball with the powers that ought not be, we shall say, and allowed a company called British Petroleum to come into the nation and start trying to export and sell off their oil as if it was their own. So British Petroleum, BP, could make a crap ton of money grifting off these sand people. Well, guess what happened? The people didn't like that so much, and they did what they had to do to overthrow the puppet to reinstall the form of government they had previously. Love them or hate them, I'm indifferent. I don't care. That's just the actual history that I was researching. Because the old school, public school, government sponsored school doesn't teach you that stuff. You actually have to dig out the old history books, like my dad, that was born in 1926, had, and look through those history books. And they actually teach you some stuff. So, have all that going on. Gas prices through the freaking roof. Strait of Hormuz not really have anything to do with anything with here. But then, no, nothing, no ships going through. But then, all of a sudden, the U.S. escorts a ship through, and gas prices drop. The Brent oil price drops by like $5 a barrel. But then they find out that, oh, that was just BS. They lied. The administration lied about that. That didn't actually happen. Prices went back up by $5, which is trackable. You can actually go on your flashing magic box in your hand or right in front of you in the interwebs, and you can look all that shit up. What I find very interesting is when I was on Twix, I saw that young Master Trump, the youngest of the youngies of that regime, the tall boy, he ended up buying 50 million or something in oil, like buying shares in oil up to like 50 million. Like a kid that young has 50 fucking million laying around. What has he done? He has 50 million just pocket change. Dude used 50 milli to buy shares in oil companies that were all this goes on. Then all this stuff goes on and the price goes up to like he ended up hitting 120 million, more than doubled his money, almost tripled his money. Insider trading. No, that Hunter didn't do any of that. 10% for the big guy and Burisma and all that stuff. We're seeing literally the same fucking thing. But we don't get them cheeks tight. We're seeing the same thing. I don't care what side of the aisle. Stop thinking of left. Stop thinking of right. Stop thinking of Republicans, Democrats, liberals, conservatives. Human fucking beings and Americans. That's where we need to be. Forget all that other shit. But my tall boy, he takes and he makes 120 and sells it off. Makes a fucking grip of money, right? But then, tall boy, after the price came back down, because the boat got escorted through, he bought at $85 or 85 mil versus 50 mil. He was a little bit up. But now, it's all bullshit. Then the price went back up. Tell me they're insider trading. Tell me they're not insider trading. He knows what his dad's going to do. He's playing the game the same as fucking Hunter did. No different. But we can't talk about that. We can't talk about that. It's not right. No, because they're the exalted, triple malted, blah, 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 blah bullshit. Right? Break it out. Get your cheeks tight and break it out. Got a whole freaking thing of it over here, a whole case ready to go out for anybody that needs it. So dudes doing insider trading and stuff. Okay, that's interesting. That's interesting. Nobody's ever going to there's never going to be any kind of accountability for any of that. But if me or you or anybody we know would do that, boom, that hammer would be coming down post haste. So when we see all that, we're just supposed to turn a blind eye to it. Okay, I'm tracking. I'm tracking just because it's the exalted ones family. But then you have Big Daddy Donnie, allegedly, is appointing the blonde bimbo that was Charlie Kirk's handler to be on the board of some shit with the Air Force. What credentials does that bimbo have to be doing anything in the Air Force, dealing with military at all? Nada. Nada. I talked to some Air Force folks today and they say nada, right? Not a damn thing. It'd be like me trying to drive the number 3 Goodyear car. The black number 3 Goodyear car. Me, my, it says down here, domesticated moron. And call me Earnhardt the third, right? I have no place doing that. This chick has no place doing that. But it's odd that she's getting called out on a lot of different weird stuff. Weird stuff. If you're looking at the speeds and feeds, she's getting called out on a lot of weird stuff. But yet she keeps getting things handed to her, and she's doing so well. And TP USA is doing so amazing, making so much money, right? She has air in her head, and she's had a few other things in her too, I'm sure. I mean, her husband's he's been dead since, September, and here we are, March. I guarantee you there's been plenty of Shlomos rolling up on her. Just saying. Just saying. But you got her being appointed onto a board dealing with something with the Air Force. I've talked about it before. Some folks listened, some folks didn't. Some just like, yeah, whatever, Metal, you're a fucking idiot. The turtle on a post. Think about the turtle on a post. It's a turtle and they're on a post. But how did the turtle get on the fucking post? Think about that. There's quite a few freaking people that are all over these devices that we look at every single day, all day long. Like, how did they get there? Those are the things you got to be thinking. You got to be asking those questions. How the did that turtle get there on that post? She is a turtle on a post. The only reason she is where she is because she got with Charlie. Good, bad, and different with Charlie. I'm not talking about any of that, how you feel one way or another about the man. It's a shame that he was killed or wasn't, and they're covering it up and making a big thing. Go into your own tinfoil thing the way you want to. I'm not judging any of that. Not saying anything about the man's character one way or another or his opinions. I'm just saying the fact of she is only where she is because of him and where he made it. But yet again, how did he get to where he was? Well, he at least has somewhat of a story that he was going around and speaking and doing all this stuff and so on and so forth. And he was a voice of conservative movement at the time, coming up through those years. So he gained traction. Love him or hate him, that's it is what it is. He gained traction. There's a certain YouTuber on here in the GunTube space that some people like watching his stuff. Some people absolutely hate it. Some people think he's great. Some people think he's a douche. I'm not talking about me, but I'm not going to say a name because I know my boys get it, who I'm talking about. But love him or hate him, whatever, indifferent. I'm completely indifferent, all that. But it is what it is. However, how did she? Well, she was on a dating show. She was on another show. She was a pageant girl in one of Trump's pageants. She was, and we see all these things stacking up and going into all that. And then, boom, she just runs into Charlie. Weird. Just weird. Of all the, how many thousands of chicks that Charlie encountered, she's the one. The one that got all cozy with Charlie, right? And now she is Miss like, but it's like fanfare. It's like a freaking Burning Man festival whenever she takes a stage. It's like, what the hell? There's no reason for it. There's no reason for it. Turtle on a post. There's a lot of people that are turtle on posts. Oh, she's a plant, all right. She's a plant. She's a bad weed and she needs to be plucked. So thanks for jumping in here and hanging, guys. Um, I appreciate it. I appreciate you. You got messages coming in and such, but no, it's a funny thing with all of this, right? How everything's happening. But I was kind of hoping he'd jump in the live here because he doesn't miss very many lives. Mr. Pilgrim. He made a post of one of Mac. And he's another one I was hoping would be in here. Maccabeus Everyday Survival and our boy Pilgrim. Mac made the video and Pilgrim shared it. So giving both those gentlemen credit where credit is due. We have old Pistol Pete. He's taken and saying the same thing as what old Donnie's saying. that this, oh, the spot right over here with my, yeah, that's one of my spots I put up there for doing dry fire. That's one of the points of aim off to the right. But no, you got Pistol Pete and you got Donnie T saying about how basically they're trying to bring forth Armageddon. Nobody in a suit and tie, no man on this earth, mortal man on this earth, is going to bring that forth. Sister Krista, good to see you. You're gonna want to jump back and catch this in replay, Sister Krista. You're gonna like it, because I'm breaking out that guy that's no longer on this platform, the wear mask like that. Yeah, I'm breaking out my inner Timu version of him. But they're saying they're going to bring forth Armageddon. Pete has been since day one has been really pushing for the third temple. If you've done any little tiny bit of research in that book, you're going to understand that the third temple is not a man of righteousness that sits in that temple and rules from it, but the man of lawlessness. And they're all hailing this third temple. That whole third temple thing, the AC is going to be sitting up in there. They're trying to sacrifice the red heifers and have a barbecue with them, and then use the ashes to paint this and that and the other and whatever to bring forth the dawn of the AC, right? Sassy, good to see you. Thanks for joining. That's what they want. That's what Pistol Pete's been pushing since before he was appointed. But then you have the Golden Dawn, the Zionist cock, right there with him. Like they're literally in lockstep, wanting to do this. And if you remember out of that book, there's a battle. There's a battle. And if I do remember correctly, it's with somebody called the Prince of Persia. Who we battling right now? On behalf of that nation that we cannot say. Yeah, we're battling in the region of Persia. Just think it's all very interesting how these things are like interweaving, how everything's coming about. Back to the gas thing here, real quick. After doing some research today, because I had a little bit of time today, and I took and I did some research. You're welcome, Sir Bobbert. I'm literally only having this one beer, and it's like down to here. But doing research here in my state, because I don't just look at the world and look at the nation, I look at state and I look at local stuff too. Research everything. Because G.I. Joe taught us back in the 80s that knowing is half the battle. Yes, it's true. Knowing is half the battle. So while researching about stuff in my state here, stumble onto this interesting little tidbit. Remember, I said 380 where I live, 87 octane, nothing fancy, just the bare bones gas, 380 a gallon, right? Come to find out, my state, Pennsylvania, has a 58-cent per gallon tax on gas. So if you take off, because I'm terrible at mathing, and teachers always told us that we'd never have these devices wherever we went. Well, I'm sitting right here and I'm hitting the buttons and I'm going to figure this out. So 380. Our gas would be sitting about 322 right now. If we didn't have this 58-cent per gallon tax on our gas here in PA. Now, they've said that if we remove that or suspend that, because there's a Democratic lawmaker, like I said, forget about Dems, Republicans, and liberals and conservatives and left and right. Americans, humans. Think along those lines. Good, bad, flat out. Doesn't mean one side's one and one's the other. Think of humans, think of Americans, not sides. Humans and Americans versus evil. That's all there is. That 58-cent per gallon tax that's been on for years now, come to find out, a Dem lawmaker is proposing a bill to suspend that 58-cent a gallon tax here in PA until the price comes back down, and they had set a number or a time frame or something. I'm drawing a blank on that, but then it'll go back up. But they're saying at that point, then they're going to have to make cuts to the state police and emergency services and road work. Hold on a second. Didn't we have police before that? Didn't we have emergency services before that was instituted? Did we not have road work going on in every season of the year here in PA? If Lark's still in here, another PA guy, he can tell you. If Pat was in here, he could tell you. Grace is our neighbor to the south. She's probably been up here enough that she can tell you we have basically 2 seasons here in PA: road work and winter. That's it. Bad dream. Good to see you, my brother. This is another one you might want to go back and watch and replay or listen to and replay. It's been a spicy one because I was on one today. What road work? Well, they put up signs and they put up equipment and stuff like that, and they seem to like stand around, but nothing really ever gets done. That's basically where it is. Occasionally, you might see some stuff get done. They get down to like 3 weeks left in the project, and they're like, "Oh shit, we have all this to do. Crap, we got to get to work." And then everything blows apart within a year, and you're right back where you left off. Thank you, taxpayers. Way to go. But we got all these things going on, all these weird things going on, but they're not ruling out the draft. Oh, the other blonde bimbo, because he's got blonde bimbos all around him all the time. Levitt, his press secretary, she went and came out and said in an interview that he's not rolling anything off the table. This is mostly air-based campaign, blah blah blah. If that were the case, we wouldn't be seeing the heavies follow. Watch your monkey works. We wouldn't be seeing the heavies going over into that AO. We wouldn't. There's going to be more boots on the ground over there. So they're setting up for a grand campaign. It's supposed to be like 48-hour strike. Everything's going to be over. Oh no, tell them it's going to be like five weeks. Okay, it's going to be like 5 days. Okay, now it's going to be like 6 weeks. Now it could go until September. A campaign, some of the gentlemen here in the chat can tell you, a campaign, if they're starting out by air, they're not intending the way they did. They're not intending to let it be a 48-hour, like a week-long campaign or 2 weeks or something, especially if they're pushing in heavy lifts, setting up infrastructure. I said about 3 weeks. Some of the guys from the think tank, Bad Dream, you can confirm this. I said about 3 weeks, and within 3 weeks, boom, they launched their attacks. For them to put boots on the ground, I'd give it potentially it could be a week or less till they're humping and trucking in there. It could be a month. Just depends on when they want to just pull that tab off. Just all depends on when they want to make it hurt. Because we should be thankful that we're sacrificing our people for the chosen, right? Oh yeah, they've already got boots on the ground. They're just not doing anything yet. They're just staging and preparing. Fact. Fact. Now, I think like Lindsey Graham, Flimsy Graham, I kicked this all off with Flimsy Graham. He's going back to South Carolina or Kentucky or where the he's from. I think South Carolina. And he's going to be pushing for South Carolinians to push their kids off into the military to go over there and die for the nation I can't say. Huh. So I say we kick him, Halo, out of the back of a freaking C-130 or C-17 or something. Just bleh, kick him out the back door and Halo drop Flimsy Graham right onto the front line. I say we take every member of Congress and take at least a member or two from and Senate and every part of the administration, up to and including people from the administration, and we put them in the same situation and we drop them front line, right? That's not let's just give them some basic training, right? Give them basic and kick them out, right? Let's do that. Let's send them. Not a huge fan of Sode, System of a Down. Not a huge fan. Like some of their songs. One of their songs says, "Why don't presidents fight the war? Why do they always send the poor?" And it's true. Put the two leaders of the nation in a cage, Thunderdome style, televise it, pay-per-view it, hang the weapons all around the thing, and let them go at it. Whoever wins, nope, you guys won. Fair enough. We'll back the off, give you back your shit, whatever. Right? Let them have a taste of what it's like to feel loss, to feel what it's like to be on a two-way range, to live your life like that for fucking pennies. Sir Robert, War Pigs. Yes, that. Why? Why are we in this situation? Because we don't do what we were told to do way back when. So, that being said, no lawfully. No lawfully. That song, but like a little bit after that in the lyrics. Okay. They are not ruling out having a draft. Interesting. Me personally, I've said it to my homies. I personally am not gonna be down with that because I know a lot of young Thundercats, right? And they have their whole lives ahead of them. They're just getting married. They're just turning 21, like my daughter. They're just starting a family. They're just now stepping out and starting their adult life. I'm not going to stand by and allow that to happen. I will not. we've said for a very long time, this is our line in the sand and so on. And then we erase it and move back and draw another line in the sand and say, nope, you can't cross that one. That's our line. And then they step over it and we erase that one and we move back and draw another one. We keep retreating. At that point, I'm done retreating, yo. Yes, the draft at that point would include our daughters. And the draft, what's really up about that draft is they can set up however they want under war powers. They can do it as men, women, boys, girls from this age to what from 13 and 14-year olds all the way up to like 60-year olds to suck everybody in. It just depends on what they do and how they're feeling that day. I'm sorry. I know what all that's about. I've walked that walk. I've lived that life. Quite a few of you guys in the chat have too. Quite a few of the folks jumping in on replay crew have walked that walk and lived that life as well. I ain't letting it happen. I ain't letting it happen. That is my line in the steel. I'm not letting it happen. If they decide they're going to do that, it's time to kit the fuck up. Flat out. I'm not calling for any type of violence. I am calling for justice. I am calling for freedom. I am calling for defense. I'm calling for defense at that point. We're defending the ones we love from the ones that hate us. They hate us. Flat out. I have an amazing freaking meme that I had sent to me. And I wanna read it so I quote it properly. Republicans are red, Democrats are blue. Neither of them give an F about you. Like I said earlier, it's not Republican Dem. It's not liberal and conservative. It's not left and right. Be an American. Be a human being. Think of your sons, your daughters, nieces, nephews, kids, grandkids, siblings. Think of anybody that you care about, and they just want to sacrifice them. Granted, they have a say in things if they're combat proficiency or whatever, but don't put them in that situation because they should never have been put into that situation. They should have been living their life, starting their family, buying their first home, going and getting their first big boy or big girl job, having their first kid. They should be starting their lives. If they're going for the younger ones, they should be starting their lives. Those of us in my age range, us Gen Xers, and even, some of the millennials and Zers and all, I don't follow that, whatever. But like my age range, okay, up in your late 30s, early 40s, 50s, even. We're trying to enjoy our families, help finish raising some of our kids, starting to enjoy our grandkids, seeing our nieces and nephews and our adopted family. We're getting things set up in our lives and we're enjoying spending time with those we care about. We've worked very hard to get to where we are, and it's been an uphill battle the entire freaking time. But then they're just going to come in and say, "Oh, we need to sacrifice you to the nation you can't speak of freely." You can't criticize them because then we're going to send a team out to kick in your door at 3 a.m. and mow you down, hold you in prison indefinitely. You can't. You're coming with us. You're going to go and you're going to serve and do this. I'm sorry, but I'm not. I'm not. I'm not going to let any of those Thundercats in my life get taken either. I ain't letting any of my homies get taken, right? I'm going to do what is right. There's a big difference between doing what's right and what's wrong. There's a difference between doing what's politically correct and what's morally correct. To fuck with political correct, be morally correct. Be what's do what's right by your fellow man. Do what's right by everything you've been taught that is good in your life. And I finished my fog, so I'm going to go to the hard stuff. This one's for Bad Dream. It's spelled differently, but it's a Dr. Pecker. DJ, good to see you, brother. So yeah, tapping into the Dr. Pecker because it's what was sitting in the fridge. I had no idea what was in there, and I just grabbed. I thought it was one of my old colas, but anyway, yeah, I'm not about to let kids starting their lives get rolled up and brought up out into that bullshit and potentially lose their lives because of that shit. I'm not about to let any of my homies get taken up in it either. I'm not going to get taken in it, nor is my wife. Not going to happen. Not going to happen. And if ever I'm rolled up, it's because I was doing what was right. I was saying what was right, not because I did something wrong. And there's quite a few that know me personally, and you know that to be fact. I don't do anything criminal. Not a bad person. I care about people. I help people all the time. Sometimes beyond what I'm even capable of, and I stretch myself way too freaking thin doing so. I always put others ahead of myself. I'm putting others ahead of myself in those instances too. I don't care what I have to do. We defend what we love. And let me say that again for those in the back. We defend what we love. I love my family and friends. I love my people. I love my life. I love my family, my community. I love my county. I love my state. I love my country. I don't love my government in any facets, whether it's local, state, federal, whatever. I don't love any of that. People can surprise you. They can be very, very shitty and very terrible. They can be very good. Sometimes it's that one person that changes their paradigm, that shifts it just enough that they start rethinking things. Talked about that before. ACR and I talked about that one night on I can't remember if it was a Whiskey Wednesday or a Frisky Friday, but we've talked about that before. I'm not letting it happen. I'm going to strap up if that's the case. And got to do what we got to do at that point. That, in my opinion, we don't do crap when they threaten our jobs with a bioweapon masquerading as a vaccine. We don't do shit. We don't do shit whenever they constantly are infringing upon our Second Amendment rights and all of our Bill of Rights for that matter. We do nothing. Whenever they take money from us and they send it to these foreign places for dumb shit and these big beautiful bills and all the CR bills, we're not going to be able to fund the government if we don't pass the bill. We got to pass the bill. Okay, but in that bill to just fund the bare bones of the government, keep the main government going, the little G functioning, they throw in stuff of like gender studies of banana slugs in Peru, underwater basket weaving to African nations, how to teach them how to do underwater basket weaving. to make climate change video games? How can we make these staples of American entertainment more woke? Still, right now, it's happening. All that kind of shit just gets pushed in there. We're paying for it. How you like it now? Great, isn't it? Great. It's just freaking great. Skull, Sir Bobbert. 2 dimes a paradigm. That is true. That would be a paradigm. 2 dimes. That's literal truth. Literal truth right there from ACR. We defend what we love. Think about it. What do you love? Because you don't care about your money. You don't care about your own personal security and safety and health, medical, whatever. Same thing with like a lot of the crap that we're eating and drinking and stuff. As I sit here drinking a freaking Dr. Pepper, it's we don't care about our health. We don't care about hardly anything. As long as the flashing magic box keeps showing us our favorite shows, and we can eat our ding dongs and ho hos and our Doritos and our Cheetos and drink our yoo-hoos or whatever, we're totally okay with it. We're just laying back like, yep, house is burning around you, just sitting there with a cup of coffee. This is fine. This is fine. It's not fine. Stop drawing lines in the sand. Stop drawing lines in the sand. There's a hard line. Everybody, everywhere was talking about the Island Boy stuff, the Island Boy files and such. Got to see the .gov files. Find the .gov files. Read pages 7, 8, and 9. And the whole thing, but look at 7, 8, and 9, just for instance. That way you don't have to dig too far into it, and it's right there, just 3 pages. Not asking you to read the War and Peace or anything here, or the whole English dictionary. 3 pages, 7, 8, and 9 of that .gov doc. Yeah, everybody's talking about the Island Boy files. Let's go ahead and start this to distract from that. And oh, by the way, we're going to talk about aliens, and we're bringing that whole thing in. That's all I can say to all that. Focus back, because that's where the problem is. That's where this pain is coming from. That's why all that's going on, is because of this. This incriminates all of them. They don't want you to see that. They don't want you to know the truth. That's why there's a bunch of blackened lines that you open up the documents and they look like that. That's why. That's why they don't want you to see it, because then you're going to know flat out in the open that ABC, XYZ, and 1, 2, 3. And they can't have that, because then we might do something about it. We talk a lot about FAFO, right? All kinds of tough talk. FAFO. Yeah. A lot of people say FAFO, but they're writing checks with their mouth that their ass can't cash. That's all there is to it. Sorry, I mean, break out the pucker powder because your cheeks is too tight. It's true. That stuff incriminates all them. They're going to be swinging from a rope before sundown, in my opinion, if I had the ability to do so. Absolutely, DJ. Bread and circuses, man. They get their head, they get that rectal cranial vision. They get their head so far up their ass, that's all they can see. They can't get that head out of there. Sprinkle a little bit on there and it'll help loosen up the cheeks that maybe you can get that cranium out of your bunghole. But no, I think that if they decide they want to try and come after kids, because the whole e-files thing and the Island Boy crap, they don't care about that because there's kids being murdered in there, kids being tortured and raped and all that kind of crap in there. That it has happened. It's actual crimes that's happened. Witness testimony and videos and pictures and all kinds of nasty, like demonic crap. They're not going after those criminals because they're of the protected class for the two-tier justice system we have in the DOJ. It's beautiful, isn't it? All that nastiness going on there, all that evil right there, but they can't arrest not even one freaking person here and bring them to true justice for the crimes they have committed. No, we're gonna. No, no. Hey, look, a squirrel. You know, hey, look, aliens. Hey, look over here. We're doing a war. We're doing a thing. They get people looking over there. But with this stuff, people are not looking over there. Like, yeah, we see that shit. That's all fucked up, and we're paying attention to it because it may come back and bite us. But back to the matter at hand. What about these Island Boy files? What about all this? And they're hating that. They are absolutely hating that. And it's one of those things, to be arrested is not enough. To be prosecuted in that is not enough. Executing on sentence, that would probably be a nice start, at least. Sentence them to, the old, where the like head in the basket thing, rope, firing squad, those kind of things. That'd be a good start. That'd be a good start. Yeah. Wait. Hold on a second. Follow me. Follow me here. It's okay. I brought along beverages. We're okay for this short journey. That whole Island Boy thing, the whole files, right? That had to do with kids, right? Younglings, not yinglings, younglings. Had to do with children and their ways of doing the sacrifice and the rituals and the other nasty stuff with kids. That tomahawk that I talked about earlier, yeah, it did that. It went after kids. It hit a place with a lot of kids. Apparently, with that nation we can't speak of, they went after another country at the same time that we're supposed to be helping them with, Iran. We're helping you because you're not strong enough to go after them, but then you're just going to be like, all right, you got that, fam. We're going over here and we're going to start trying to push in these guys' shit. While they're doing that, they're going after places, not infrastructure. They're not going after places to target in a militarized strike. Schools, hospitals, children's homes. That's their prime targets for these folk. That's the prime target for these folk. Interesting. Wait a minute. Wasn't that also the same targeting like civilian areas like they did in the Gaza? Hmm, interesting. So they did that stuff in the e-files with the same sect of people. The Shapiro caterpillar eyebrow type people, Kazarian whatevers. Yeah, did that with Gaza. They did that in the e-files. Doing that in I can't remember whether it's Libya or it's Lebanon. I can't remember which. I think it's Libya they went into. But they're doing that. Now in Iran, they're doing the same thing. Yeah, DJ Lebanon. Lebanon's been a conflict like the 50s. E- Everywhere over there has been in conflict since like the dawn of time. But what's interesting is they've always going after the kids, always going after and sacrificing people because they're their little g. That's what they do. Read the Old Testament. Yeah, they were sacrificing to Baal and Moloch and all these others. Yeah, yeah. You're not wrong, ACR. You're not wrong. But if you do that, at least use some frog lube. Get a nice little tingle on there while you're doing that with the broken glass. Yes, I do know what you mean, Krista. I'm with you. I'm tracking. But it's interesting that they're always, no matter what, sacrificing humans and ritualistically sacrificing kids. It's messed up. But then if they institute a draft, aren't they then sacrificing our young? Hmm. Interesting. Very interesting. Phoenicians, Assyrians, Sumerians, Babylonians, Persians. I mean, exactly, DJ. Like, keep going and going and going and going. I mean, they're all over there just rattling off at each other all the time. Some tea tree oil so I don't get an infection. It's just messed up that they keep following the same wash, rinse, repeat that they have since the beginning of time. What I also think is kind of interesting, I'm not for Iran. I'm not. I'm not against Iran. I'm not for them. I'm indifferent to them. I'm looking at data on a screen, data on a paper, data in a book, right? Not talking about personal opinion. I'm indifferent. Just stating that. I'm American yeehaw, motherfuckers. That's me. America 100%. Not America first, America only. Okay? Iran. They have applied several times over to start developing nuclear energy. They have been denied every single time, but they keep getting hounded because of the small hat folk to constantly be inspected for nuclear material and this and that and the other. And the results that I've read over have always showed that they weren't close to doing anything nuke. But the small hat folk, whenever they're questioned, like, these are not the nukes you're looking for. They're pulling an Obi-Wan Kenobi on us and on everybody else saying, oh no, you can't look here. Let me pop a Mentos. You know, no, we don't have anything here. You can't look at that. We got nothing. We got get skedaddle. We're good. So we know due to the last inspections that Iran did not have the nuclear material and the means to make a weapon of that caliber. Because we all know with Iraq and Afghanistan that they had tons of WMDs there, right? Tons of them, all the WMDs that we recovered and brought back here, and they paraded through the streets of what they recovered from over there. Oh, wait, that didn't happen? Weird, right? Weird. I know. But Lil Kim, the crazy little fat Asian dude, north portion of Korea there, the Orange Man went across the DZ and shook hands with them, and they sword fought behind the building or whatever they did. They were docking or something, whatever it's called that those weirdos do. Um, Lil Kim there, he has the stuff. He has capability. He has all that stuff. He has said nukes. He has that stuff in North Korea there. It's not that we went after Iran before they could make them, because the last like inspection they had to do and the last like hoops they had to jump through showed that they did not have anything to even come close. But the guy that does, we didn't know. We'll go after Iran, keep them from making anything. It's to keep them from making them. Okay. But we're going to let them, who's actually made the threats of using that stuff, we're just going to let them go. You get here. You get here. It's like going into the bar and the bouncer just kind of goes like this, gives you the wave and like sends you in. Meanwhile, you're like strapped like John Wick. Yeah, that's literally that situation. Archangel, good to see you, brother. Hope all has been well with you, J bro. Um, yeah, I think we missed the mark, and you can't say that. Oh, well, we want to stop Iran from making this stuff when they've proven that they don't have the stuff to make, and they've been applying for the help to get nuclear energy set up. We can't do nothing with Little Kim because he's already got them. Weren't there some other countries we were involved with and going into that had that kind of stuff? Interesting. And I'm not even so sure that that's actually even a thing. That type of weapon, I'm not even sure that's actually really even a thing. I'm wondering if it's just not lip service at this point, because if you look back at the old tapes, I'm sure you guys have seen this stuff, like the blasts and the buildings getting blown to splinters and all that kind of crap. Yeah. How'd the camera survive the blast? How'd the film, with all that radioactivity, how is it the film and the camera survived the blast that they could actually show you? How is it that a car rolls up in the middle of like the end of the blast and it's there after the blast and it's perfectly fine? Interesting. ACR, you get cleaned up, brother. Glad you got that ruck in, and yeah, I'll be talking to you, brother. But I just think it's very interesting, all this stuff. Like, does it actually really, or are they just yielding like a really massive warhead? I know they joke around about, the massive rice cooker and all that kind of stuff or whatever, dropping the bomb on Japan and everything else. But like, after they dropped that bomb, people were back in the area, like cleaning up and doing stuff like the next day or two, like reading over the old books from then and talking with my dad who and my uncles who were live and active in that war over there in that theater. They're like, yeah, they were rebuilding everything like within like a couple days. Like there was no weird this, that, or the other. There were people that they abducted, that the little G had abducted. Like, wait, what? Oh yeah, they brought a bunch of people on the boats and they like took off and they didn't say where they were going, but they were going to meet up with another boat to pass them off to them to take them to some experimental lab. Because that was a lot of the talk back then was experimental labs. So when we see all the stuff coming out of all that, that was coming from the lab. It wasn't coming from the blast, from what my family was telling me. Obviously, I was not alive then, and I did not have my orbs on the situation. But I'll go by firsthand of what my uncles were telling me and what my dad was telling me. So yeah, I'm just questioning if that's actually even a thing or if it's just a very high yield explosive bomb. That I can believe. That's a high yield explosive. Not that it's a nuclear type device, but that it's a high yield HE kind of super HE with the double hockey sticks type. Yeah. Yep. So that's where I'm at with that. I It's been a very long day. Over there in Gen X's neck of the woods, multiple counties in Indiana confirmed tornado. Hmm. Well, I hope everybody in that AO is good and safe and everything is okay with them and they get through this tornado. I'm not a fan of tornadoes. They were threatening tornadoes here the other day, and I'm just not a fan. Not a fan. We go from like subarctic to like today it was like 70 degrees. Yesterday it was like 75. And we're supposed to be getting rain and snow and drop back down into like the 30s and 40s. And I'm tired of this. Tired of this shit, Grandpa. DJ Moab, but spicier. Truth. I mean, we've seen what some of those rounds from artillery can do and what some of those missiles can do. I the poof you get off that, and the blast radius, and feeling that shockwave back off of those. An ICBM, dude, that's gonna be way more spicy than what a Tomahawk or a JDAM or a freaking Hellfire or something's gonna be. There's even talk of DJ. Correct me on this if I'm wrong, but there was some talk of Willie Pete being used over in Iran. I'm like, hmm, why are they breaking out the Willie Pete? Typically, don't do that whenever you're kicking into into military type stuff, unless you're dealing with like munitions and trying to take out munitions depots. But yeah, where they were using the Willie Pete was legitimately in like civilian areas. I'm like, what the Willie Pete, for those who don't know, is white phosphorus. It is very hot, basically liquid metal, burning very hot. Like, you look at a sparkler, when the sparkler is going and you see like the white where the sparks are coming from. Yeah, that, but way freaking hotter. Dom, good to see you, sir. Thank you for joining in. This was a schizo impromptu rant here this evening. And thank you guys for tuning in. Yeah, there's talk of Willie Pete being used over there, which, I mean, I don't believe in the Geneva Convention. It's more like Geneva suggestions. But yeah, exactly. Exactly what I was just saying. It was placed on the Geneva Convention's "No, no, you do not use," kinda like napalm and some other things, and, yeah, they're just no, you can see the stuff in the videos, and granted, we're still not knowing what's real and what's not because of AI and all the BS with all that. Moral of the story, that line that you're not erasing and stepping back and creating another one from, I figured mine out. And I hope that you guys are figuring yours out too. Um, it's a hard line. I'm not letting them come after our kids. I'm not letting them come after my homies. I'm not letting them come after my family. I'm not going to let them come after your family. I'm not going to let them come after your kids. I, like a few of these other gentlemen, swore an oath against enemies both foreign and domestic. And that's about as domestic as you can get right there, folks. About as domestic as you can get is in your own home, having to deal with that. So keep your heads on a swivel, keep your eyes and ears open. There's no reason to be paranoid, there's no reason to freak out. Be vigilant, be smart. If you haven't done so, get your preps going, get that food, get that water taken care of, get that medical, get your consumables. If you have to, get your bullets, get your beans, right? Get what you need done. Get it done soon. Gen X, I am about to do the same, my friend. You have yourself a great night, man. Just keep your heads on a swivel. Stay positive. I know it looks really bad right now, but it's okay. We are going to make it. We'll make it together. But things are going to get worse before they get worse, and we already know they're getting worse. Absolutely, Archangel. Protect the kids no matter what. That's all there is to it. You know, we defend what we love, like I said before. So, guys, with all of that said, I'm going to get off here and I'm going to go get myself ready for sleepy times because it's time for me to go sleepy sleep because I've been up for a very long time, a very long day. I'm going to have a very long day tomorrow. But I did want to come in here and do the schizo rant here this evening. And per- perhaps maybe I got a few people's butt cheeks tight. Maybe it happened. Well, here's the Tin Man brand pucker powder for you. Just reach out, hit me up in the email. It's right here in the channel. Reach out. I can get you pucker powder. It's okay. It'll help. It'll help loosen up them cheeks so they don't stay clenched all the time. And you're like, "Argh." Okay. Help you relax a bit. Guys, thanks for tuning in. Impromptu, random ass thing. I know there's other guys getting ready to do their lives. Well, my ass is going to bed. But you guys stay blessed. Take care. And I'm going to play a little podcast music to see you guys out. And I will catch you on the next one. Till next time, metal out.